Okay, here comes trouble. These women hardly need an introduction, but I'll be paid less if I don't. So please welcome the UK's loudest megaphone for women's sexual rights, Aloni, and model and presenter Shani Jamila. These co-hosts of the Laid Bare podcast for the sex positive and opinionated will be telling us about key toy trends, experimenting and empowerment. Yes, how to rise up sexually. And remember, we can ask questions and the ladies will answer them at the end of the session. Hello, you two.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are
Great,
you?
thank you.
I'm 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay, we need to get that to a 10 then.
Oh, nice. What are you?
I'm a 10. I'm a 10. I'm a 10.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
arrogant much? Shani, what are you?
I'm feeling like a 10 as well today.
Oh, you two, come on. Let me ask the most obvious question is, it's 2020. Do women need to be taught how to rise up sexually?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they do, because for so long we've been taught that sex isn't for us alone, or that we can't enjoy our sexuality. It's always been from a male perspective and a male point of view. And I think it just needs to change. I think even if you look at the glamorization of sex in the media, it's always been for the male gaze. It's never been women taking empowerment over their own sexuality. And I think there's just so much education that needs to be done and conversations that need to be amplified amongst ourselves so we can feel sexually confident in order to rise up sexually.
Yeah. Shani, how are you teaching women to rise up sexually then? How are you actually doing it?
By having conversations and being a part of something like Laid Bare, where we do talk so openly, and there are so many women that look like us that don't feel like they can do that. So to see people that represent that side of it talk about so openly can do so much, and just starting a conversation can have such a massive impact on different people.
Yeah, there is that real I think that strength or that power of change when you find out you're not the only one is so huge and can't be underestimated, can it? So if you have any issue or anything that you're thinking, but do other people feel that? If you're talking about that, if you know in your content and your podcast, that's the kind of thing you talk about, people are going to feel enlightened and lighter.
They want to feel included most of the time. You don't want to. It's a natural human instinct to not want to feel like the odd one out. So when you realize that there are some people that are still like, they are sexually explorative or they are just themselves, then to people who want to be like, oh, I can do it too, you know?
Yeah. So right now, what would you say, how are women not rising up sexually? What's holding women back?
Ooh.
They're lying about getting their orgasms for one.
Yes, lying about orgasms. I think not speaking up in the bedroom, not being adventurous enough sometimes, being afraid to step out of their comfort zone when it comes to sex, you know, thinking that they might put off a guy if they mention that, you know, they do need a bit more stimulation when it comes to clitoral pleasure. You know, stats have shown that we need more, our orgasms in general are more complex than the male orgasm. You know, their orgasms usually had through penetration, and that's when they reach their climax. But for us, it's not necessarily the same. We've had researchers in the past, Sigmund Freud, who told us that our orgasms, if it wasn't received through vaginal penetration, that it was childish. Those were his words.
Childish?
So, yes, it was actually, he said it was childish. So we've been told for so long, and I think you know, women just need to just be a bit more vocal in general and say, this is the way I climax, this is the way I enjoy sex. You know, in my spare time when I'm exploring my sexuality, this is what I enjoy being done to me. And it also goes, I mean, I feel like we do take a bit of the blame as well, because we're not experimenting on our own the way we should be. On Laid Bare, we talk a lot about masturbating.
Yes, you do.
We do. So I think it should always be about making sure you know yourself so you can teach your future sexual partners on how to love up on you properly.
Love up on you. I love that. Before we get more into masturbation, and of course we must,
Yeah.
You know, when people say, have the conversation, be bold about it. I think it's easier said than done. So let's role play.
Okay, let's go. I love role playing.
Three of us, we're in bed, we're being casual. We've just had some, I don't know, chips, and they've been delicious. Yeah, chips. Mayonnaise, dear, perfect. And then I'm like, you're both beautiful women, but it hasn't done it for me. How do I say something without hurting your feelings? That I want something done. And while you're answering, I'm just putting some lip balm on. Sorry.
Okay, no, put your lip balm on.
I feel like that's why we're stopping ourselves. I feel like in any sort of friendship or a relationship or a situation where there is another person involved, it's always a case where we have to be thinking about hurting the person's feelings. Sometimes it's genuinely just something for you. So it's a bit of like, I completely understand that you think we had a good time, but for me,
and I will say as well,
we're gonna have a good time. Let's be honest.
And I will say as well that person's feelings doesn't come before like your orgasm, especially when it's when it comes to pleasure. Hurting their ego doesn't come before what brings you sexual happiness. And if that's an orgasm for you, you shouldn't think that you're upsetting that person just by being honest and vocal about something you're both involved in. You should be able to just say, do you know what? Yeah, the sex was great, but I haven't come yet. So can we carry on going? And you decide.
Aware as well. Like personally, if it's my partner or my sexual partner, I tend to leave like these sort of discussions out of the bedroom. So
really, I do it in the bedroom.
No, because I feel like the bedroom is just for fun and sleeping.
No,
I don't want to have
not for me.
Vibes in there. So
not for me. It's not negative. Me telling you that I haven't reached my orgasm is not negative.
They can keep a little bit whatever. So if I'm trying to stop that or whatever, I'll be like, okay, when I watch EastEnders or something, like, oh babe, by the way, it didn't happen.
But then you've left the sheet by then.
Or sometimes if it's like exactly after, and I'm like, wait, you've stopped and I still haven't come, then I'm going to be like...
No, what I do is, okay, so I haven't nutted yet, so we need to go. You can find a place you want to play with, and we can, get to going. So what are we about to do? I am so serious. Like, honestly, I will roll over in bed and be like, oh, did you have fun? Okay, I haven't come yet, so my turn. So you need to do what I'd like, of course.
I kind of admire it, but I do think, Shani, there's that feeling of that someone's very vulnerable in bed, especially after they have just orgasmed. And so is that the right time to do it? But listen, if you're saying it is,
whatever's right
and it's worked for you,
just find whatever works for you. And I think it's to do with familiarity and being comfortable with that person as well. Because, I mean, the past couple of people I've had sex with, I've been completely comfortable with them. So I'm like confident enough to say, I haven't reached my orgasm, so we need to make sure that happens.
Because there have definitely been times where I've been like, I haven't come yet, we haven't finished, or I'm going to go finish myself off. Or there are some times where I'm like, you know what, this is my consistent partner, my repeat partner. It doesn't have to be right now. Like, I still enjoyed the sex, I just didn't find that.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but notice, Aloni, you brandishing... couldn't help but notice that. Do you carry it with you everywhere?
I do. I've got like 3. This is probably my 4th one now. But the ones is actually my best friend. I love using it during foreplay, can I just say, I feel like it's so underrated when it comes to sex. I want everyone watching to actually, like, the next time they're about to have sex, like, just don't have sex, just enjoy foreplay with each other, like watching each other. I think like foreplay is so underrated when it comes to sex. And even when I encourage my followers to just enjoy a good 30 minutes of foreplay before you start going at it like rabbits, they look at me or tell me that I'm crazy. But foreplay is such an important part of sex. So yeah, this wand is, I mean, on my podcast we call this Connie, because she's just like my best friend. She's always there for me. I used her earlier this afternoon as well.
Oh, lovely.
I wanted to try and have a nap to see, because I think masturbating is great for if you just want to knock out as well. So it does the job. But I think it's great for foreplay. It's great for when you're in the moment. There's great positions that you can use it in. The last position I used it in, which was amazing, was in doggy, where I was sat slightly up. He was behind me. My legs were in the middle. here's what on the outer. And I was using this on the front, he was behind.
You were screaming about for days.
I was screaming about it. It was such an amazing feeling. Like, I've never, ever had that sort of orgasm before. And you can just imagine penetration, clitoral stimulation, everything is going on. It's beautiful. So yeah, I do encourage that women try having conversations with their sexual partners about how they would feel about bringing a sex toy in a bedroom. So we've got like the magic wand here.
So these were just sent to you as well. I know that's your fourth. Was that your fourth today?
Yeah. What, fourth orgasm today? Because it was my
fourth one today, I mean.
So this is the fourth wand I have.
So you've got a wand. What's that?
So now we have the Love Ents Lush 2 over here. So if you go on my Instagram page, you'll actually see me do a whole video on it. Now this is great for especially the type of climate that we're in at the moment. And if you're in a long distance relationship, how this works is that your partner literally downloads the app, and they basically have control no matter how far they are in the world. Like, isn't that amazing? Like, so for example, say if my partner is in America, all he has to do is link his, basically link the toy with the app, and it controls the pulses, the vibrations, the speed, the tempo. It can even connect with music. And I've had, great feedback from other people who do have it as well. So this is one that I would definitely encourage. And it's also, again, I'm a fan of clitoral stimulation toys. So yeah, this does just that. And you don't necessarily always need your partner, so you can cheat on them by like just using it by yourself. Not really cheat, but just obviously using it by yourself without them. Do not encourage that.
I love that it's connected to music. I mean, I'm guessing was it Ed Sheeran?
Ed Sheeran.
Very slow. I need to get more upbeat. I need something that's like more reactive.
Shani, did you get sent any stuff from Lovehoney?
I definitely did. I haven't had a chance to open mine.
You're going to be excited.
Honestly, I'm so looking forward to it.
So I'm telling you some of the stuff you've got.
Have said that they can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Oh no.
We can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
That's fine then.
Yeah, fine. You're fine, darling. You've got, oh my goodness, you've got so much here. Happy Rabbit Mini Ears. Lovely.
See, I've got that as well.
Oh,
the BB, that's the BB, right?
Yes. So this again is great for clitoral stimulation. Once again, you can use it with your partners or solo play. Another thing, I just find it like I've had a lot of questions from women in the past. They're just like, how do I introduce sex toys into the bedroom?
Yeah.
And I think that if you have a partner who understands or who knows that we should all want to have an orgasm during sex, they should be pretty open to it and want to explore. I wrote a blog actually for Lovehoney not a while ago, like a couple of weeks ago now. And, I explained that going from my 20s to my 30s, that it was kind of hard for me to have those conversations because I had partners in the past who were just like, they described this as a mic. And they would just put off the idea. They felt emasculated by seeing another toy a toy in the bedroom, and they were just like, am I not enough? But then again, if you educate yourself on the, just the female anatomy, you understand again that our clitorises and just our orgasms in general are way more complicated than the male, orgasm. So yeah.
Moving from 20s to 30s, then. So what are the big changes?
Ooh, you really, you don't care as much when it comes to hurting your male partners. I will say that. I say that because when I was younger, I don't know about you, SJ, like growing up, did you ever lie to your sexual partners? Because I know I did. I used to lie. I would
say that, oh yeah, I came.
Yeah, or I would go back to sexual partners I weren't compatible with because I was worried that I didn't want to increase the number of my sexual partners. And especially with the community that I'm in, it's just seen as a really bad thing. If a woman has a lot of sexual partners, you're seen as, I don't know, it's weird because it's like there was this number that everyone would use, and we all said 3. So even when I had my first boyfriend and he was just like, how many people have you slept with? I was just like 3. And then throughout the relationship, the number would change and I would forget. And at one point, I didn't care anymore. I was just like, okay.
So would you say your number now?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I think it's probably like 12, 13.
Yeah.
Like 12, 13.
And then, I mean,
so.
generally though, you don't, because I mean, what does that even mean? What does it mean?
What does it mean? What does it mean? And even if I sleep with 200 guys, am I supposed to like evaporate into the air and, you know, just combust? Or I don't understand, like, what happens to a woman if she sleeps with X amount of numbers.
It just makes me laugh that it's like a taboo thing for women to sleep around, but I'm like, okay, so men, who are you sleeping with?
Men, who are you sleeping with? It just doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? So I've just realized that shouldn't really define a person or a woman. A woman should find sexual happiness with someone she's sexually compatible with. And that is what is really important at the end of the day. There's so many women who are having bad sex, and it's sad. It upsets me because they're doing it for male pleasure. They're not doing it for themselves. And women have a right to their orgasms. They should. And there's nothing that brings a bigger smile on my face than when I hear a woman tell me that she's used a sex toy that I suggested and it really did the job. So I think that's what's important. Before you jump into bed with a guy, like, understand your body, learn what you love about your body, you know, spend some time, you know, getting to look at your vagina and your vulva and just know what really turns you on. So when you are ready to, you know, be with someone that you want to be with sexually, you know how to guide them and what to do. And you won't feel away by telling them that you didn't reach an orgasm. You'll say, well, these are my erogenous zones and I want you to caress hair. I want you to kiss hair. I want you to lick hair. I want you to eat hair. I don't know if anyone's into eating ass who's watching. It could be that, you know, you won't feel away by saying any of these things because you are now sexually confident.
Do you know what I love about you two? Mm-hmm. So I would have said that I'm, you know, quite a broad-minded individual. I have never had these conversations with my girlfriends, and it's so bad, isn't it?
That's why. Normally, as soon as I'm like finished with a guy, like I'll go home and I'm like, oh my god, Lovehoney, it happened. Like, and we did that, and oh my god, I tried this position today, and like it's a thing.
Yeah, you're doing it with your girlfriends. You're talking to your girlfriends, but what's amazing, what's empowering is you're doing it on platforms, so you know people have access to your thoughts and your information and your knowledge about all this, and all that conversation just must be making you youngsters must be having the best sex ever. It's actually annoying.
Honestly, we're having the best sex, but then there's still people who are depriving themselves of having amazing sex. But yeah, I feel like
our platform is that we're not saying that we're going to cure all of that at the same time, like one time, sorry, but it is a thing where the discussions are being had, and it's like, even listening to the podcast, you have girls who are like, oh my god, I feel like I'm sat down with my girlfriends talking about this, and it's like, okay, cool. So now that you feel a little bit more of a part of it, you can take part and, you know, own your sexuality and learn about yourself and how to please yourself in the bedroom. It's really great.
And sex toys play a big part in that, don't they?
Oh, they do. I love a good sex. I love experimenting with sex toys as well, and lube as well. So I've got this as well from Lovehoney, which is this water-based lube. And I was having this conversation on Twitter as well. There's so many women who don't realize how hard it is to, well, not how hard it is, but there's a lot of women, who don't understand how important lube is in the bedroom. And I think that is just, you know, I don't know, it frustrates me sometimes because even when I asked women on Twitter, I said, what lube do you guys like? Because I enjoy water-based and mostly silk, and I love flavored lube as well. And then, you know, you had some women who were just like, I don't need lube, like I get wet enough. And I'm just like, okay, that's great, but when you leave the window open and you're going at it, you will dry up eventually, or on the second or third round. And
the images your words paint.
There's just this terrible misconception that you know, that women, if you bring lube into the bedroom, that there's something wrong with you. And I'm here to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with you.
So it's something wrong with the woman because she's not got enough. Something wrong with the man, he's not arousing the woman enough. If it's a straight relationship, it's seen as a solution to a problem, not as this enhancing.
Exactly, of course, as well. And you know, there's so many reasons that one could want to use lube. It could be medication, it could just be your environment, it could be menopause, it could be, there's so many reasons. But regardless. Pardon?
It could just be for taste. Like, it could just be that.
Exactly.
The taste. You know what? I want...
He goes on about creme brulee every
I want a chunky Kit Kat one. Do you think that's going to
That'd
happen?
be amazing. We need to get
Peanut
Lovehoney.
butter one.
We need to get Lovehoney to like sort that out. I'll try and pitch it to them.
Could you? They listen to you. Listen, we've got some questions. Can I ask you some questions?
Oh, please do.
Okay. Do you want me to do it in an accent?
Go for it. What accent?
I can't do accents. So this is from our lovely Annabelle Knight.
Hi, Annabelle.
Hi, Annabelle. So the question is, what do you enjoy most about your jobs?
The fact that I'm able to be free and just not care about what I have to say and if I'm going to slip up, because it's just us being us. Like,
yeah,
can't go wrong with that, really.
Yeah, I think what I enjoy most is knowing that I'm just spreading awareness when it comes to sexual pleasure, and doing that with my friends like every week is fun because we're having conversations that are being listened to by thousands of women and men. I see you guys watching. Don't try it. I see y'all. You know, just having these conversations and being able to just spread awareness on sexual health, sexual pleasure is just great, because I feel like this is the conversation I wish I had or heard growing up.
Oh, same. Oh my God.
Because there were just so many blunders that I'm sure we've all made. I made so many terrible mistakes. So hopefully we are helping younger women, or maybe older women as well, who needs that encouragement and advice.
Yeah. Shani, what's your favorite? Oh, you said that you can kind of talk freely.
But one, I say freely, but it comes with a price, because whenever I want to say something to Aloni now, she'll tell me it's content, and I'm like,
I don't want to know.
I don't know.
Even for the podcast.
So Aloni and I have touched on this before, and I think it's really important because it's great. I honestly think it's just so brilliant that you talk about this stuff and put it out there, and you are helping older women. It's brilliant. But there's another price to pay for that is if you're sex positive and talk about sex in a positive way, some people kind of think that takes away your consent, and you get some really kind of dubious stuff said to you or said to you, and people feel that there's like carte blanche to say and do what they want.
Absolutely. I mean, even my DMs on Instagram are usually, if it's not like a dick pic, it's videos of like, I've had videos of orgies being sent to me by users.
Oh yeah, same.
I did watch them, but
like video nudes, and I'm like, ladies,
yeah,
it is sexy.
It is sexy. Consent is very sexy. So yeah, that does happen a lot, and I think even with men as well, they usually think that just because you're a sex educator, you're open to just having a sex conversation. I've been to bars in the past where I just want to enjoy a good night out with my friends, and they suddenly want to tell me their sexual dilemma on the spot, and it's just like, whoa.
Don't want to hear it right now, love.
I don't want to, I don't want to hear it.
So here's a great question. This is from an anonymous attendee. What vibrator or vibrators, plural, would you recommend for a first time for clitoral pleasure on a budget?
I was going to grab this out, but I'm going to put it away because that's not the answer. Because for your first time, I feel like you have to start with baby steps. And what you must understand is it's okay to get things wrong, because I did. It's all about experimenting, playing, trying. You know, I said this before, like what I like, you might hate, what you hate, I might love. But I think it's always great to start off with a bullet when it comes to just, dipping your toe into and just trying things out. My error was when I turned 18, got my debit cards. The first thing I bought on my debit card online was this huge, massive dildo with veins. It was so graphic, and it was just...
both made that mistake, because mine was a big purple one, and it had veins everywhere. I'm thinking, this isn't doing what it's meant to be doing. I've seen you guys talk about how amazing this toy is, and I'm like, where?
Funny story, when I was in university, actually, I remember I forgot that I told my landlords to come around to check the heating, and I remember I let her in, but I was sleeping, and she wanted to check the heating in my room, so I just said, yeah, come in, you can come in. And I absolutely forgot that I was masturbating the night before. My dildo was right beside me, and she was just like, your dildo.
Oh my, sorry, love. Oh my.
I just wanted to melt.
Ground to swallow you.
Yeah. I wanted the ground to swallow. I was just like, oh God, it was so embarrassing. But
well, talking of swallow you, here's a question.
Ooh.
How do I perform oral sex? That was the worst segue you'll ever hear. How do I perform oral sex on a male with a condom on whilst pleasuring him?
I think using lube would be great. I think lube would be amazing for giving head with a condom on, which is always encouraged. Or using flavored condoms, actually. Flavored condoms would be good.
Flavored condoms or flavored lube.
Yes, would be great. Exactly. So that would be a good way. And also using toys as well. Like, toys are not just for women. We must remember that as well. Find a toy, experiment with your partner. There are so many toys that you can use and experiment with. There are cock rings that you can use as well that vibrate. Pardon?
I was trying to think what was the word. It was a cock ring.
It was a cock ring that you can also use as well. There are so many different forms of vibrators that you can use. You can use it to massage his balls as you're giving him head, and play with it and just have fun and ask him what he's into as well. So you get a good idea of what type of pleasure you want to give him.
Well, sex toys again, you two, it's like you're reading my mind or you're reading my questions. But this is another anonymous attendee. How do you help a partner feel comfortable when bringing sex toys in the bedroom without making him feel inferior? I know Alani's going to say it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. I don't care. I will bring a whole basket of my sex toys and throw them on the bed and just lob it there and be like, right, pick. What one of you?
Shani, how would you do?
Oh
my God.
I feel like I'm the sort of person, especially when I'm getting to know somebody, before like getting to the bedroom with them, I normally will put out feelers. So I'll be like, oh yeah, I used my toys today, or I'll put out feelers and do it that way. I feel like when you're doing those feelers or when you're having those conversations, I feel like another way to do it is also to just be like, okay, this is what helps me get to where I need to get to.
Yeah.
So it's either that or... Yeah. And the thing is, some people just won't want to do it, and that's okay. That maybe it's just not sexually compatible for you, and that's okay.
Well, that is a really good point, because it's how much teaching and coercion and all this kind of stuff do you want to go through? They just might not be the right person.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't even promote coercion. It's not a thing that we promote, but it is a thing of do you know what? Here is what I like. Would you like to try it one day? If you wouldn't, that's okay. We're just not sexually compatible.
You're not for me, and that's fine. There's a girl out there who's vanilla and perfect for you, but I am not her. So
there should be a litmus test, shouldn't there? There should be just a bit of paper that you can just lick, and if it goes bright pink, no, I'm sorry, we don't have time for this.
Absolutely,
that would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be? Leave that with me. I know people. How do you, so this is, I guess, our final question. Do you have any advice on warming, tingling or cooling lubes? Are any of them better than the other? And which brands would you suggest?
I do not like
Shanika.
Yeah, I don't like any lube that tingles. I think that lube, for me, this is my own personal preference. So my personal preference of what I've tried is literally just water-based lube, but not lube, and water-based lube as well. Anything that fizzles, pops, and crackles is not for me. I just
get my pH balance. I mean, I know it's made for down there, but I'm like, why am I feeling those things that I should not be feeling?
Yeah.
You don't want a panic attack in your clitoris, do you?
Right. No, thank you.
Not
I love her too much. I need her to keep working. That's it.
What's next for you two?
Ooh, we want to do some more video content. SJ has been saying for a while that we should do some video content, which I think would be a really good idea. More content from Laid Bare as well. So guys, make sure you check it out. And make sure you tweet us and tweet about this as well, because we've had so much fun at Camp Lovehoney. So please make sure you tweet us on all socials as well.
I love how you two nearly broke up earlier.
Did we?
Yeah, you were rowing really badly about about when's the right time to tell your partner that, it's not quite...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. The sexual tension was quite arousing.
That is us on Laid Bare. We're just like, no. And she's like, yeah. And I'm just like, no.
And the thing is, we're both Leo, so we're very headstrong. So.
How long have you two known each other?
Too long,
Too
wait.
long.
Yeah, too long. Yeah, honestly.
How long?
Around 2.5 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. You two are great. Listen, get off my camp. I've had it. I've had it with
fun.
you.
See you guys later.
See you soon. Take care, lady.
Bye. You too.